We're back, people, and today we're breaking down film on Anthony Weaver's defense and how he's looked, finding early success for the Dolphins as the defensive coordinator. I really like what I've seen from them. I think overall they've been pretty good, especially when you consider the context of like the situations they've been put in. They do need to work on I think run defense and stop giving up too many big runs. I think that's kind of their biggest weakness right now. But there's areas they really excel in, and I think it really comes down to Weaver and his defensive play calls. I think he does a really good job with his pre to post snap coverage rotation. I think it does a good job of confusing quarterbacks, which I think is a really fun difference compared to last year. And then right now, the Dolphins are the #1 third down defense. They give up third down conversions at the lowest rate. And I think it has to do a lot with Weaver's blitzes and the pressures that he brings. And he just did a great job, especially in the New England game, giving up different pressures. Like with the Jalen Phillips injury, he made a great adjustment with all the different blitz looks that they were able to do. So I hope that kind of continues. I think to help stop the run defense, he's done a good job getting DBs involved, getting them downhill, getting linebackers to blitz on passing downs. I think it's a big reason for their success. There's just a couple of those runs that really hit big gash gains, and I think it has to do with a little bit of linebacker play. Dolphins running more of a one gap style scheme, just puts them in a tough spot. So we'll see if they clean that stuff up. I think that would be huge. But he's done a good job, with his looks up front in every single game, rotation of coverage. There's just been a couple times where some big plays have been given up, and they haven't necessarily been his fault either. I think a lot of the big plays were just individual players not making a play, not necessarily scheme. And then a lot of the Dolphins' biggest plays have been because of scheme. So it's definitely nice to see a lot of good work across the board. When we look at plays from pretty much every game. I think the only game where I was the defense really didn't show you much was this Buffalo game, but the offense pretty much lost you this game pretty early on, and then the defense pretty much in every situation didn't step up either. So that one's the blemish on the record. But every other game, they were making plays to win you that game. Like Jacksonville, they had a slow start, but really showed up in the second half. This is one of the best plays of the season. This is just pure hustle. And I think that's something you got to give credit to the whole defense, and even the defensive coordinator has them playing tough. Right here, this is the first third down of the game versus New England. They just had a sack. Look at the pressure look they're showing. They have, 4 on this side of the center, 3 over here with linebacker and chop, showing that they might blitz. They do slide to the right, but basically all 3 of these guys drop. You try to make them useless. You get Brooks to step up into this. So you get a 4. Now you get a 4-on-4, but it's 3 D linemen and a linebacker, and one of the guys that has to block is a running back. So you have a big advantage to this side. Sealer wins up quickly to the inside, just wins. Ogba loops. You get quick pressure from this side. Brooks just holds this left guard long enough. All he does is just freezing here to hold this left guard and not come and help on the loop. And they just win instantly. Really awesome blitz to just bring this overload pressure to this side. You don't see this very often. It's just a fun look to get your guys these advantageous wins. And then you get that sack on the play. Brissett had no chance. Really enjoy that. I think some of these big plays have just been poor plays by the defense. Like Ogba here, knifes to the inside and just gives up the edge. He doesn't set the edge here. As you can see, a lot of the times they play as one gappers and they get out in space, and some guys the DBs miss some tackles out there. These plays have to be limited. Now, how will he do? He's done some schematic things to slow it down, as you'll see with getting Ramsey and Holland down in the box. Getting extra numbers. The Dolphins actually run more cover 3 than any other coverage. So usually they have single high. But there's a lot of things I think I really enjoy watching them do like this. They're showing a single high look here. And sometimes they'll rotate from single high into, split field look too high. Sometimes they'll have their nickel go back and, play as an inverted 2. He goes back as a deep safety. They'll do a lot of different things, rotating down with robbers, buzz, defenders, playing different variations of cover 1. Here they rotate down from single high into a different single high where May goes back. So it ends up being the same coverage, but just from a different look. And you get just good communication on the back end. People shoot out. You also get a fun coverage look here because, you are blitz. Yeah, you get the coverage look. And then you also bring some blitzes. You bring DB off the edge, and then you bring David Long downhill, linebacker. So you get some pressure off the boot play action throwback to make, there some tough. And then Brissett has to find that, and May's in a good position to get back there, even after the coverage rotation that happened from pre to post snap. Another blitz on a big down towards the end of the game. They bring the blitz. They show pressure. They have, 3 guys on each side of the center here, so 6 guys at the line of scrimmage, showing, pretty much like it's going to be a cover 1 look. That's what it ends up being, but whatever side this running back leaks out to, that's kind of who gets responsibility for him. This running back leaks out to Chop's side. Chop might be coming on pressure, but once he sees the running back leak out, boom, you get here. Now they're kind of focused. The center doesn't really the center's first step is to the left here. So you get 3 on 2 to this side. You're going to have people coming in unblocked. It puts 75 in a tough spot. You get that instant pressure. All you have to do is stay in coverage for a split second, play man-to-man decently, and Brissett has no outlet to go to. Another pressure look on this time the 4th down where they had to chuck it up. You get unblocked defenders. Elijah Campbell coming in unblocked. Everyone kind of, shows their pressure here. 81 who can run a route, who stays in to protect. Ogba just stays on him. Just in case he leaks out of the backfield. He just wants to be an extra body here so he can play, basically, cover him. I mean, Ogba's not going to cover Hooper down the field. You don't need him to cover him very long if he did run a route. He's just occupying him so Campbell can get the free lane, close ground as fast as you can, and then he has to throw it up. Just really, really good work, I think, across the board in those situations. Different types of looks here. They get Ramsey up close. They did this a lot in this game. I think you might be seeing this more with the Holland injury. Ramsey near the line of scrimmage, playing as your nickel. This has been happening more and more each game. You get Ramsey on a blitz. It ends up being an early down pass. Ogba drops into coverage. The quarterback never sees it coming. He gets in the throwing lane. Just with how you rotated your stuff there. Very, very fun. And then kind of how they were stopping the run in this game. They gave up some big runs late to Tennessee. But they had Ramsey and Holland come down in the box. Be an extra number in the running game and get them free raise to roam. He's run blitz stopping there, and Ramsey makes a lot of solid plays. Another example of it here is with Holland. I mean, Campbell just wins his matchup instantly. You get Campbell matchup on a tight end. You come down with I like how he kind of mixed things up. He knew the Titans were going to go run heavy, so he brought in, a bigger, more of a base look. And you have 4 defensive linemen, big defensive linemen out here, all hand in the dirt. Campbell's playing as an edge, so he gets a great matchup with on a tight end there. And you still have your edge linebacker in, setting there. You get Holland with a free run to help make plays in the backfield. It's just different types of looks. And then on your 3rd downs, you bring pressure and you get a free guy again. You bring this late look right here. I believe it's either Holland or Anthony Walker. I can't tell if that's 6 or 8. But they're blitzing and they slide this protection to the left. 75 kind of finds him and just brings on some confusion. They end up getting this is a 3-on-4 here, 2-on-1. But with all the confusion up front, with all showing the pressure and bringing this late looper here, the O linemen don't communicate well, and it just gets Jordan Brooks free lane. Even though they have the numbers to actually block this up, that you end up dropping your defensive ends. They drop Ogba into coverage, they drop Phillips into coverage. Just all these different pressure looks that they're coming out here with their loops, and it gets Brooks just a nice little sack. Just so many 3rd down stops. This is a game where just linebackers over pursue. Defensive line, to me, this is pretty much on defensive execution. There was opportunities to make plays there. Sometimes you just got to hold your own. Titans O-line does a pretty good job, and they just hit big gash run game. Those are the plays that are kind of the killers for Dolphins defense. That's why if they can have a lead and kind of slow down that stuff, not have the running game be as consistent throughout the game, the Dolphins defense I think gets to play a lot better. And here's just more coverage stuff, fun things they like to do. They make a fun little play. They rotate Poyer down. I like when they get to do this where the guys fly down, becomes more of a flat defender here. I think it just allows for the defense to play more aggressive in coverage. You can see how they kind of swap here. Because it looks like it could be a split field safety look here, but Poyer rotates down, and then him and Coe kind of swap spots. Coe becomes a hook. Poyer becomes the seam flat. They carry throughout. Fuller gets one-on-one on the outside. Really good job. Now you work a stunt up front here. Sealer wins. You get the loop going. Gets pressure on Geno pretty quickly. You're just running pretty normal stuff on the back end. Cover 3. They buzz down. He becomes the middle of the field buzz. Deep middle of the field stuff. You get pressure on Geno. He kind of throws it down. And then because of that pressure that's created from the stunt, it gets Kader Kohu an interception there. So that's good work there from Weaver. Good call. And then the big plays have given up. This is just on Holland making a mistake. They're playing course to the bottom, and he bites on this and then gets beat over the top, playing super over aggressive. They're playing cover 2 up top, cover 4 at the bottom, playing in the cover 6 stuff, and he just gets beat one-on-one. It's just too many plays like this where it's just one player makes a mistake and they give up a big play, whether it's either a touchdown or just like a play that then will lead to them scoring a touchdown. That's pretty much like how most of the Dolphins touchdowns are given up. It's not like they're getting like vastly out schemed, I think, except in like the Bills game. But I think there's a lot to like. Like this play, like this one, I could have showed it even longer pre-snap, but there was a lot of communication going on from pre to post snap. Like Geno Smith was making calls, the Dolphins defense was adjusting, and I kind of look at just how they rotate into this. Kohu ends up, like, as I'm talking about, the inverted 2, and Geno's trying to read this and see what's going on. He might think like, oh, this safety comes down, it could be single high, but it's not. The nickel goes into 2 high. They run tempo 2, he becomes that middle field defender, and they just get a quick sack because Geno's a little confused up front, and they get it with like trying to work a stunt with the 2 interior guys, and it just creates a whole bunch of, nonsense in the middle of the field. They bring even run blitzes that work against play action, like because Dolphins kind of struggle versus some play action too, but they bring that run blitz. Phillips knifes to the inside. Jordan Brooks comes in. You get also Marcus May blitzing. It just gets some free rushers, and then boom, get pressure on Geno Smith instantly. Really, really nice look there, and they're out here in their 3 safety looks. So I like their 3 safety look because they have May in the box. Holland looks like he could be like your big nickel playing as a safety, but with all the blitz, he still rotates into a 2 high look, which I think was unexpected, and there's nothing for Geno to go to right away off the play action. This one they got out schemed because they did a bunch of motion pre-snap versus the Bills, so they knew it was man-to-man, and then they kind of bring this back, and it just gets the mesh option going, and David Long is a man-to-man versus James Cook, and they work him across, and he has to get through the pick plays, the rubs, and he just falls to the ground. It's just, that was just getting out schemed and then scoring a touchdown, and that was like a big play in the game because it was like right after the interception that DeBose dropped, and it was like a 4th down situation, and they ended up converting it for a touchdown, and that was kind of one of the first daggers in that game. There was like, the Bills did this thing where they play, see how they have 6 offensive linemen here and a tight end, and they do this a lot to run the ball, and I think the Dolphins just got out-gapped with how they were aligned here. Feels like who's responsible for these, like, very tough asks, because they have extra numbers to this side, to the weak side, but not to the strong side here, because they have enough people to fill gaps, like an extra hole over here, but it puts David Long in a very tough spot. Like, David Long makes the wrong read, like, because Fuller's going to come and fill in here, and he should have helped fill there, and he gets taken out of the position. But, like, to me, I don't know if David Long should be put in this spot, and then also, Hand is getting triple teamed just because of how they're aligned here, and it just creates a big run, and James Cook goes for another big touchdown. And Jordan Poyer has nothing left in the tank to take an angle there. Kind of just their biggest problem, I think, defensively, is giving up too many big runs. Because even though maybe sometimes their pass defense isn't perfect, they do a lot of good things with their calls to get quick pressures and then also confuse quarterbacks with the rotations that they do. That if they don't give up like an easy, quick pass where like someone just makes a mistake, they usually end up getting, like, that's why they're so good on 3rd downs. And then I just want to show this play, like, it's nothing technically scheme-wise, but it's just the hustle. Such a huge play in the season. Pretty much everyone, like from this side of the field, Ogba, Jordan Brooks taking on 2 blockers, Ramsey with the hustle play, Long's in the position 2. Look at Phillips, really make him take that angle. Fuller hustling to get to the outside, and then everyone else getting there to make a play. Just definitely like the play of the season, but really impressed what I've seen from Anthony Weaver. It hasn't been perfect. I still think, want to see it continue, but when you think about it, and it's like this team's first time in a new system, I feel like they've been playing pretty dang well. It's just a couple mistakes here and there that have kind of hurt them in certain situations. But it's been mostly like, if you look at it, a lot of times it's been an offensive problem with putting them in really bad spots, and they've been on the field way too much. So hopefully that changed. It seems like the Dolphins offense might have found a little bit of a blueprint the last game, and they can build upon that, and then potentially, the Colts are not the best team either. They can win that game, even though the Dolphins also aren't the best team. They could definitely still lose, but it's definitely a winnable one, and we'll see how that ends up playing out. I'll definitely have some Colts breakdowns out next after this video, so if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel, peace.